Hey guys, it's Connor aka Ogre. This video is supposed to be much longer than it's going to be. I was painting for about 15-20 minutes and then I realized that my camera had stopped recording because there was no space left. So I'm sorry. To give you like a really quick update on what we talked about, because I'm probably not going to go over it all again. It's just a whole lot of babble of me talking about paints and a whole lot of other junk. I noted how I apologized for posting a perhaps inappropriate thing on the Hunter blog. I didn't realize anyone would be offended by the fur skin I acquired. If anyone was offended, sorry. Talked about some movies, but I won't go over that again. I think I ended off with there's a show, The Vikings, that's airing every Thursday now. It's season 2. I was an avid fan of season 1, and I do like season 2. So you should tune in and watch that. It's not exactly historically accurate, but it's a good show. So that's where I left off, guys. So it's actually probably good that it restarted, because I was kind of getting into some... I got into some topics that some people might have been upset about, so it's best left untouched, probably. So to recap, guys, I just did some base coats on this guy, threw on some washes, and now I'm simply highlighting up. It's very simple. Very simple indeed. I need to pick myself up some more ratskin flesh and Kislev flesh. I'm running out. My most used paints by far. By far. So what I did now is I just did my base coat of ratskin flesh. Wash Griffin Sepia, go over all the areas again in ratskin flesh. Now I just added a dab. I basically just end up with a big pool. Let me show you. There's no measurements, just a big pool of ratskin flesh, and I just add a dab of Kislev. And oh, come on, you bugger! Give me my area to work with. If I run out of batteries, well, so be it. Because I can't work with this cord. It's being a pain in the butt. There we go. And then we just start highlighting up. So when you put on that first layer now, you just kind of go over the areas that you've went over already, but you just leave a little bit of space extra. That's why I find it very hard to explain to people how to do skin tones, and they're like, "Hey, how do you do your skin?" It's kind of something you just practice. I know that's what people hate to hear when they're starting to paint Warhammer, because I hated to hear it. How do you get good? What's a good painting style? Well, hey man, just practice. So no, I just spent ton of money on these guys. If I paint them and they look like shit, I'm gonna have to do it all over again, right? Sorry. If you look at my first ogres, well, you see, I didn't really have to go through that in the same way other people do, because I started with 40k and I got a lot of my practice out. Like, I went through my what I would call the absolute utter shit phase, where your painting is just so bad it makes people want to cry. Some people don't go through it, I guess, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that most people do. Where your painting is just so bad that like nobody even wants to look at it. It happens, and that was my Space Wolves. They were terribad. But you practice, and you keep practicing, and when you're done practicing, you practice some more, and you keep painting, and you keep working at it, and eventually your guys, you wake up and you go, hey, this guy looks pretty good. And that is life, my friends. Life is about practice, and nothing happens quickly in this world when it comes to perfection. And sometimes you just need to work at things. So that's my best advice to you if you want to get good at skin tones. You just have to pick up an Ogre and start. There, of course, are ways to make life easier using proper techniques and using proper colors and watching tutorials. But all in all, if you want to get good, there's 3 things I can tell you that are gonna just do it for you every time, and that's practice, practice, practice. Experiment. Try new things. You will not be disappointed with the results, I assure you. There's nothing like watching an ogre come together, I'll tell you guys. It's a good feeling. It's amazing how much my painting improved when I finally learned that just keeping your gut plates off and your iron fist off make painting exponentially easier. Sorry, my back hurts a little bit. I think I'm starting to like... I mean, I've always liked bulls more than I like iron guts, but after playing games with iron guts and bulls, I have to say I'm more impressed with the iron guts so far than I am with the bulls. But unfortunately, I got to start my wet palette over because I just realized that I was mixing. I had red mixing in with my other paint, so I got to start. I always forget that the wet palette it keeps stuff so wet. I was painting last night. It's now 3 in the afternoon or something like that, and the paint I was working with last night is still there and it's wet. Gotta be very careful. Normally I just mix right over top of the already dried paint because of course it's not going anywhere. But it wasn't dry, it was wet, and now I have red skin. Not on my ogre in the wet palette. I didn't screw up that bad. Sorry, it'll be a little bit of a process to get this back up and running here. Get my paint back. Gotta kind of keep mixing it until you see the right color. And that looks like it's gonna be about it. Yep, that's it right there. So add some water. Looks good to me. Let's get to it. Whew. Be a little too watery. If I don't drop this camera at some point in this video, I'll be shocked. I'm at such an odd angle. I'll be amazed if nothing goes wrong here. I think after this, I don't think I'm going to be doing much painting on video anymore. I mean, like painting a full miniature on video. Because this is a pain in the ass, guys. Sorry, it is. This is unbelievably difficult. I just don't have the setup required. I've got a great setup for doing like stationary videos where I just kind of rant and talk about stuff, but this is pretty mind-blowing. Alright, that feels a little bit better. So now that I have a pretty good proportion of elf flesh mixed in here, I'm kind of staying very light. Like I'm not putting this on in huge doses. I'm kind of just running my brush lightly, doing quick flicks on areas that require it. If you can tell the difference when I have the lights off. I have dinner tonight at my grandparents', who are probably going to cook something nice up. I'm blessed to be still able to see mine. Something I often probably take for granted. My girlfriend just lost her grandmother, so it's a very sad time over there. She's Italian too, so family's very tight. Then again, whose isn't? With mine, I can't imagine life without my grandparents. They're such an integral part of my life. He's looking good so far. He has my Connor Flynn stamp of approval. That is my last name, in case any of you didn't know, Flynn. So if any of you wanted to know what my pretty face looked like, well, Facebook away, FLYNN. You can see me in all my beauty. Just don't stalk me or I'll kill you. There's a pretty good number of you who I would accept on Facebook friends. I believe we're good enough acquaintances now, and certainly there's enough people on that Facebook that I probably don't know. It's one of my biggest problem with that program. There's some people on there you're not friends with. Every once in a while I'll do like a trimming. This sounds harsh, but what I do is when someone's birthday comes up and it gives me a prompt, so-and-so's birthday, blah blah blah. If I haven't talked to them in like a year and I know that if I saw them on the street and I wouldn't want to talk to them, I delete them. Happy birthday, buddy. It's harsh, but sorry, it's true. I mean, you can't be having your Facebook clogged up with people like that. Your news feed gets all... In fact, the best thing to do would just be not to have Facebook. And I won't for very long if and when I apply for my RCMP training. I have have an exam this weekend on it. Shouldn't have any Facebook when you're applying for those things. It's not exactly bad. It could very easily work against you. Oh, skin tone, why are you so taxing on my back? I'm always hunched forward. I'm like studying it to no end, and it really starts to tax your back for sure. I normally go one shade lighter on this. Like I would normally add a little bit more elf flesh and do this one more time. But I think I'm going to keep it here because he's looking, I think once I put the tone on, I think he's going to end up looking quite similar. Yeah, I'm going to keep him the way he is. It's the beauty about ogres is that you can kind of just... Oh yeah, I'll have to keep it like that. He looks fine. Sorry. Once again, like I said, I may not do many more of these all-out painting videos where I'm just like actually full-out painting a miniature on camera. I don't think I really have the mental capacity for it. Unless you guys, I mean, I know you guys like my ranting videos and stuff where I'm just talking and blabbing on. I just really can't do that while I'm doing this. That's the only issue, you know. So now that we've got like a basic skin tone done, I'm going to take my Griffin Sepia, if you're using the old stuff. The old inks were much better in my opinion, the old washes, but teach their own. I put two big blobs of that on my wet palette. I'm going to grab some water, and I'm going to make that super, 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 super watered down. Probably something like 6:1. You want it literally like water. And you're just going to coat that guy. All you're doing here is like putting a little seal on the miniature in my, that's the best way I could put it. It's going to darken up those areas a teeny little bit, but nothing that your eye can even notice, but it'll blend those colors. Yep, that'll work. I think so. Nice. So let that dry. While we're doing that though, we'll take some black wash. I used to do a lot of red wash on the pants, and then I used to do like a red wash and then a black wash. Eventually I realized that I can't tell the damn difference. So now I skip the step and I go right to a heavy black wash on the red pants. I cannot tell the difference. Just make sure that red wash goes on okay and you're fine. You're laughing. I'm going to water down that red wash as well. Couldn't hurt. Really, I mean, by definition, you should water down everything. If you're putting anything on a miniature, you should always water it down out of the pot. That's my general rule of thumb. You guys can call me an idiot, but whatever, that's what works for me. And I think that's what most people, like most sites tell you to do. Like if you look up like painting tips, I think one of the big ones is please make sure you water down those paints and water down those washes, because they can get quite harsh. The time I don't water them down is what I'm doing right now. I'm slapping it on the boots. Boots, leather, that kind of stuff, metal oftentimes, they don't need a watered down wash. That I want those to be so dark it should work itself out, just being pure black. And we'll do a little highlighting after, but that's fine. So while that's working its way in, I'm just going to finish off. I forgot to do some of the highlights while I was going on with the hand, so I'm just going to take the hand here and quickly go over that with my paint. It's always, the hand is covered up anyway, so you don't really need to go crazy on it. I'll grab some lead belcher. What is it called? Oh, it's just called lead belcher. I was wondering, I'm like, what is it called? Lead belcher steel? Is it lead belcher aluminum or something? No, just lead belcher. I don't actually see a change in between the new, like, I don't know if they changed anything from that to bolt gun. I think that might be one of the things that they don't really want to mess with is their bolt gun metal. It's such a, you tell me an army that doesn't require to use those unless you're using like a non-metallic metal. I've never actually tried non-metallic metal, mostly because I can't stand the look of it, but like when you compare the non-metallic metal, to me anyways, compared to like a really done, like using a metallic and then washing and then weathering and, you know, adding rust and the chips and stuff, to me there's no, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind which one I like better, but hey, everyone's different, so everyone's different. We're also going to add a big blob of black wash to the weapon. That's super easy to do. Another thing that requires very little effort. Really here we're just trying to get the black in those recesses of the stone, and because we're going to go over that after with like a lighter gray to highlight those up. I find a lot of my friends that come over and be like, man, dude, your paint job is like amazing. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? You'd be shocked at how easily you could do it. My buddy thinks my painting is just like the bee's knees. He doesn't know how I could ever do it. But I know that if he came over and saw the steps, he'd be like, okay, it looks alright. It looks alright. Where does it get good? And then I'll slap on the wash and he'd be like, whoa! That's how easy it is? Yes, the wash is doing all the work for you. That's what I think that's a Warhammer secret that we don't divulge to our family members and stuff when they come over and look at models. You go, yeah, but the wash kind of did all the work there. That wash isn't going on like I wanted it to. That's okay. You gotta be kind of careful with black wash on red. It can go awry quite quickly, just as it has here. It gets quite blotchy. Thing is though, I really like the look of like really dirty pants. So the black works in that respect. Besides, we're gonna highlight it up after with red. Like a dry brush with red. It'll look fine. So I guess in this stage we're just letting stuff dry, however that long. So that's one of my biggest problems, that I'm impatient, and I start things while they're possibly still wet, and sometimes I get away with it, and sometimes I don't get away with it. I'll probably end up putting a bag on this guy, so I'm just going to quickly spray paint the bag. Oof, I am pretty much out of spray paint. That's quite evident now. I didn't realize I was so short. May not even end up posting this video up. If I do, then, well, I'm sorry. It's been such a monotone video. Sorry, I just really don't have much to say. I'm in school. I have hardly any time for Warhammer right now. I haven't played a game in 2 weeks. It's got me pretty sad, actually, because it's really starting to. I really wanted to like get to know the guys I was playing with. I found since high school I've drifted apart from many of my friends. The base of my friends used to be very. Oh, I think I'm officially out of spray paint. As of right meow. Got just enough black there to do the bag. And enough to spray paint my fingers. Like I was saying, guys, I kind of started to drift apart from many of my friends where they... I used to love video games. I used to play video games all the time, non-stop. And I got very, very addicted easily to video games when I was younger, and when university came around, I realized that I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't video game and study and have a social life. I couldn't do it, so I stopped playing video games altogether. Period. I ripped apart my computer. I bought a MacBook Pro just to do my schoolwork on, and that's where I left it. And I started playing a game here and there again because a new friend I have, who I met at work, Johnny, he's very good at StarCraft, so we play StarCraft for fun every once in a while, and I find StarCraft's a game that I can easily put down. But many of my other friends remained in the gaming mode, and I've found it hard to keep in contact with them because oftentimes that's all they do. Whereas I started wanting to do other stuff. I want to mountain bike, and I want to rock climb, I want to go hiking, I want to do that kind of stuff. So I've been really trying to make new friends, and I've met plenty. Just saying, I really wanted to make some friends in the Warhammer community because I wanted to have some go-to buddies to play with on Thursdays or something, So somewhere other than at Kobold's Corner. As much as I like the store, they close at 9, and we just can't seem to finish our games. So, well, guys, I'll end it there. I don't think I have much else to say. I'll finish this guy up, hopefully for tonight, and post up some videos, or some pictures. And, yeah, he'll be fine. Went a little bit crazy on the black wash on the pants there, but who cares? It's what dry brushes are for. I'll have a lot of fun doing his beard too. Doing gray beards is always a very fun experience. P.S. If you want to do ogres fast, make sure to not put those clubs on them. Those clubs take 4 times as long than doing any sword. And I find the sword effect comes out looking 10 times better anyways. It's so easy to do like a nice rust effect with like the chipped rust and then spattering some blood. Clubs are a little different, take a lot more time. Although when you put blood on a club, the blood goes on really well to round surfaces as opposed to flat ones. Like you get that like bloody gurgly mess going on, like the coagulating blood in the cracks and stuff. So it works very well in that respect. Depends what you want. And really, do you want your whole Ogre army holding swords? No, probably not. So I do have clubs in there. I think my favorite club to put on, like, probably my favorite Ogre guy in general I have in my army is one of the guys holding the club from the Mournfang set. And he's a pretty solid Ogre. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing him. I love those big clubs. I wish their clubs were a little bigger in general. I think their swords are actually a little bit tiny. I know that's dumb considering you put them up beside a normal unit in any other army and their sword is basically the size of a soldier, but you know. Anyways, I won't ramble on anymore. 31 minutes, I'll update this when I can, or I'll upload it when I can. Cheers guys, good talking to you. Bye.